To record your multipads, it's just the same as when you're doing a multi-track recording. If you want to do your multipads, go to tracks 5, 6, 7 and 8 because they're blank tracks, and while you're holding the record button, hold one of the tracks. See, at the moment it's actually armed them all as record tracks because I haven't individually pressed a track. If you actually hold that button and with the other hand press one of the tracks, it arms only that track to record, and then at a particular part in the song you just touch whichever multipad you want. So for example on track 5, so we've got 4 tracks there, 5, 6, 7 and 8, so that's my 1, 2, 3, 4 tracks I'm going to use just for multipads. I'm going to use track 5 for the first multipad, then I'm going to come back in afterwards and do the process again. Track 6, the second multipad. Track 7, the last second last multipad, so that's my third multipad, and then track 8, I've got my fourth multipad. So when I'm playing back the song, I'll just pause that for a second and I'll go past a few bars. So you go up to bar 10. You can see the different parts lighting up. You'll see a multipad light up in a minute. You'll see track 5. There it is. Track 5 is actually playing back. And that's my first multipad. Now the multipad's not lighting up because I've actually recorded that multipad on part 5. Now part 6 is lighting up, which is my second multipad. That's the one I use for that. When I get to this part of the song, any second, part 7 will light up. So I've still got that multipad going. Then I recorded, here we go, I recorded the third multipad on track 7. So I went back and I recorded them one at a time. Only took me about 5 minutes to do it. And then once I've done it, I never have to do it anymore. Now there we go, that's the fourth multipad, and I used track 8 to record it. So I've got all my multipads recorded and they're coming in out exactly when I want. And I've just designated those 1, 2, 3, 4 tracks. So I've used track 5, 6, track 7 and track 8 because they haven't got any melody parts or any accompaniment parts playing. If I go back to the start of the song, you can see that the accompaniment tracks are actually using all the tracks on the bottom. Tracks 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14, you can see they're all the accompaniments. And I can hear that drums is track 10. Something else, and bass is on track 11, and you can switch them off and try the different parts. And there's my multipad on part 5 coming in. So you can actually see, you can listen to all the different parts. And that's how I figured which tracks to use for my multipads, because I realised that all these tracks on the top, track 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, had nothing recorded on them. Okay? When I first did the recording, to do a bit of a guide, I actually played the melody with it, so track 1 was actually lighting up. I then came back and pressed record and deleted track 1 by recording nothing onto track 1, and then I stopped it. That way I've got a backing track, but when you're recording the backing track, I find it easier to actually play the melody with your right hand, so it reminds you when to change the chords. It's just my way of doing it. You don't have to do it that way. And then I come back afterwards and I delete the melody track. And that gave me all these tracks along the top to use for any of the 4 multipads. Well, because there's only 4 multipads, I just figured, okay, those 4 tracks, track 5, 6, 7 and 8, will be my multipads. 1, I'm using multipad 1 on track 5, multipad 2, I recorded onto track 6, multipad 3, I recorded onto track 7, and multipad 4, I recorded onto track 8. And if you use that every time as a formula, you won't get confused. It's the easiest way to do it. And that way, I've got a beautiful recording. When I'm playing live or playing in church or whatever I'm doing, I don't have to press anything but my preset buttons. So for example, if you put the entire song with 8 different sounds, you can have 8 different sounds and it'll keep changing, it'll stay on the same song. I've got it with one song on the first 2 and another song on the second 2 presets. You see it's changing. When I press preset number 1, it'll change to Satin Doll. Preset number 2 doesn't change, it stays on Satin Doll, but it changes to a different sound. but it stays on the same song. I've got another song stored in preset number 3. Our Day Will Come goes to the piano, and preset number 4 goes to the flute sound. Our Day Will Come. So that's how I did it, and that's going to solve all your problems. You won't have to keep worrying about pressing multi-pads. All you do is you press whatever presets, and as you press the presets, it'll change the sounds, but it'll also change the songs. If you put one song in all 8 multi-pads, well, great, it'll just play the one song, but as it goes along, it'll change your different sounds, but the sounds are no longer linked to your multi-pads. The multi-pads are recorded in your song, and that's the beauty of it. You don't even have to think about anything, and everything will work. The multi-pads will play just one at a time, and that's the way to do it. That's the way this is designed. If you want, you can go back into it afterwards, and you can add more than one multi-pad playing at one time. For example, I've got multi-pad 1 playing on track 5 here, but I decided to go back in afterwards. At bar 14, I added multi-pad 2 on there, playing on track 6 at the same time. Watch this. So I've just gone back in and I've re-recorded it. So there's multi-pad 1 playing by itself on track 5, now with multi-pad 2 playing on track 6. So I can combine as many as I like, just like I did before. There we go, now it's only multi-pad 2. Now multi-pad 2's come back on again. Now no multi-pads at all. Now multi-pad 3 will come on in a minute on track 7. There it is, multi-pad 3 on track 7, and so on. So you can go back in after you've done the recording, even a month afterwards, and just edit it. So you don't have to worry about thinking about doing this when you're actually playing in a live situation. You just play the left hand accompaniment part and the right hand melody part, and that's all you need to think about.